What if the pain you're carrying isn't entirely yours? Could the struggles of your past generations be affecting your life today? Generational trauma is an invisible burden that can impact your emotions, behaviors, and overall well-being without you even realizing it. Let's take a look at what it is and some effective steps to heal from it. So what is generational trauma? Generational trauma is the psychological effect of traumatic events that get passed down through families. Events like abuse, war, oppression, racism, or violence can have a traumatic impact on individuals and end up posing ongoing challenges for their future generations. How is generational trauma passed down? Generational trauma is transferred both genetically and culturally. Trauma can lead to changes in our DNA. For instance, studies show that trauma can cause epigenetic changes, like DNA methylation, which can make future generations more vulnerable to conditions like depression and PTSD. Similarly, trauma can be passed down culturally through learned behaviors and patterns within families. Unhealthy habits and ways of coping can be passed from grandparents to parents and then to children. If you're wondering if this applies to you, we will talk about 2 examples. Let's see if you can relate to any of them. Consider Sai and Sai's sister. They grew up with an abusive father who struggled with addiction. For their safety, they had to live with their maternal grandmother, who believed in harsh discipline like spanking, yelling, and shaming, which did nothing to improve the children's behavior. It only made matters worse. Sai, labeled hyperactive and disruptive, was already getting into fights at school, while his sister developed anxiety and low self-esteem. Not only was she treated harshly at home, but she was also bullied at school due to her timid and insecure nature. Their early and repeated exposure to trauma elevated their body's stress hormones like cortisol, which can be damaging to their brain and body systems, setting the stage for future dysfunctional behaviors. In another example, Sai from an alternate universe had a mother who became emotionally numb after losing her own mother. This emotional numbness unknowingly affected Sai, leading to an insecure attachment style. Sai developed a fear of abandonment and became overly dependent on her partners for reassurance and validation, while struggling to trust others. As a result, Sai might become clingy in relationships or push people away to avoid getting hurt. In his quest to find the love and care she missed as a child, Sai may seek out partners that are unsuited for her and end up perpetuating the cycle of trauma. Do you find this video insightful? Like and subscribe for more. Major signs of generational trauma. Generational trauma manifests in various ways, impacting our emotions, mental health, physical well-being, and behavior. Here are some common signs. Number 1. Codependency. Codependency means relying too much on others for emotional support or approval. This often happens if you grew up in a family with unstable relationships or emotional neglect. Number 2. Hypervigilance. You feel worried all the time or always on edge as if danger is around every corner. This can be an inherited stress response. Number 3. Unhealthy attachment styles and dysfunctional family dynamics. Generational trauma can lead to frequent issues and arguments within the family, and this can affect you and your relationships. It might make you afraid of being abandoned, emotionally distant, and make your relationships feel unstable. Number 4. Family history of mental health and substance abuse. Sometimes family trauma can lead to conditions like PTSD, anxiety, or depression. And when substance abuse runs in the family, it can become a way of coping that gets passed down through generations. Number 5. Excessive fear of death. While everyone fears death, generational trauma can make this fear extreme or excessive. This can be linked to the life-threatening events your ancestors went through. For example, if your parents survived a ghastly car accident, you might develop an unusual fear of dying when traveling on the road. Number 6. Low self-esteem and self-destructive behaviors. Growing up in a family where there was a lot of criticism or neglect can make you see yourself in a negative way. It causes deep-seated pain, lowers your confidence, and makes you hate yourself. In severe cases, it may even lead to hurting yourself on purpose. So, what can you do if you're dealing with generational trauma? Let's break it down into 3 simple steps. Recognize, repair, and rebuild. Recognize. Take a moment to reflect on your life and experiences. Identify any ways you act, feel, or think that might be a result of past trauma. Talk to a therapist to understand this better and get support. Seek a professional diagnosis and address feelings of guilt or shame that are making your symptoms worse. Talk openly with trusted family members to help them understand and support you better as well. Repair. Once you've acknowledged the trauma, you can start your healing journey. Work with a psychotherapist to understand where your trauma comes from and to learn ways to cope and heal. Connect with supportive and non-judgmental people who allow you to process your feelings, uplift your spirit, and make you feel safe. Family therapy can also be helpful for everyone to heal together. Rebuild. Focus on taking care of yourself by practicing mindfulness and daily meditation. Eat nutritious foods and make sure you get good sleep to help your brain and mood. Engage in relaxing activities like exercise, hobbies, or time in nature to reduce stress. If you're on medication, follow your doctor's instructions carefully and don't skip any doses. Moving forward, healing from trauma takes time, and it's different for everyone. There is no fixed timeline. It might take months or years, so be gentle with yourself as you make progress. Remember, generational trauma doesn't have to define you or your future. Instead of passing down pain, we can pass down healing. By taking proactive steps to recognize, repair, and rebuild, we can heal, end the cycle of trauma, and create a better and healthier future for ourselves and future generations. Want to learn more about how to deal with trauma? This video will help. Your past trauma is triggered and ways to heal. PTSD and CPTSD. Healing is possible.